Namaste. I'm Alakanandama, Ayurvedic doctor and principal of Alandi Ayurveda Gurukula, a unique apprenticeship style Ayurveda school in Boulder, Colorado, offering 2 and 4 year programs. So I know a number of you have been diagnosed with SIBO or have a friend or relative who has. And I want to take a few minutes today to help us to understand SIBO in Ayurvedic terms, because when we're confronted with a Western diagnosis, what we have to understand is we need to see what it is Ayurvedically in order to treat it Ayurvedically, because the uh, Chikitsa, the texts of Ayurveda that tell us how to treat things, go with specific Ayurvedic diagnoses. So, in Ayurvedic terms, what is SIBO, aka small intestinal bacterial overgrowth? So, we worked on this together in the Gurukul. We have such wonderful times in our round table, working through stuff, thinking through stuff. And we realized that SIBO has the same set of symptoms as Grahani Rog. Grahani Rog. Grahani means small intestine. Grahani Rog means a disorder of the small intestine that leads to malabsorption. We know malabsorption is really important in SIBO. People get osteoporosis or osteopenia because they can't absorb their calcium. For example, people with SIBO are not able to get the adequate nutrition from their food. And within that, there are different lists of symptoms for Grahani Rog or sprue or malabsorption, depending on the dosha that's causing it. And it's the type of Grahani Rog that's due to Vata. We call that Vataja Grahani Rog. That is the one that fits so well with all the symptoms people do tend to experience with SIBO. Now, please understand, SIBO is not just one thing because it's a bacterial overgrowth. So your SIBO is unique to you. It has different symptoms than other people's because the bacteria involved and the proportions of bacteria involved in the overgrowth are different depending on the different person. Having said the words bacterial overgrowth, let's understand that when we're looking at SIBO, we need to provide some herbs that will be antibacterial. And we have a lot of nice herbal friends, such as licorice, that are antibacterial. Licorice seems like such a nice, friendly herb, but it's very powerful. Of course, remember, don't go out and treat yourself because, for instance, if you have high blood pressure, licorice won't be the right choice, but there'll be other choices. I'm just giving you an idea of how to understand this condition. So we'll be wanting to give you to treat you for Grahani Rog, which has its own specific set of treatments listed in the texts of Ayurveda, and we'll be wanting to include some special herbs. The Ayurvedic herbs that are antibacterial are quite broad spectrum. It's based on the fact that plants need to be able to protect themselves from viruses, bacteria, and fungi. So they have quite strong actions in this regard. But another thing we want to do in Ayurveda is we want to understand not only what it is, but why you've got it, because we have to be able to treat the cause. What is the root cause of you having SIBO? And let me say here that I know that SIBO has very distressing symptoms, and furthermore, receiving that diagnosis, which is a relatively new diagnosis, can be quite scary and confusing for patients in itself. On the one hand, it's good to have a name for what you've got. And on the other hand, it's like, whoa, I've got this bacterial thing. I've got to have this very special diet. It's all kind of scary. Why have you got it? Well, we do, as we discussed last week when we were talking about the gallbladder, we have developed a diet that's very high in refined foods and very low in fiber, and that can cause a lot of digestive problems. Secondly, there are all kinds of treatments that we may have had, such as antibiotics, such as steroids, such as immunosuppressants. There are all kinds of medications we may have had that could lead to us developing SIBO. Of course, if you're on a medication currently that's prescribed by your doctor, you'll have to talk to your doctor to see if you still need to be on that medicine. But if you're over having that medicine, then we definitely need to work to repair the damage that's been done by having a medicine that disturbed your microbiome. But another deeper reason for why one might develop SIBO is adverse childhood experiences. We do talk about this quite a bit of depth and detail in the Ayurveda and trauma self-paced course. Once we've had the adverse childhood experiences, that disturbs the hormone levels. It disturbs the level of cortisol in our body. It puts things out of balance and it renders us susceptible to many kinds of chronic illness. Of course, that could have also rendered you susceptible to illnesses that resulted in you having to have the medications that led to the SIBO. So directly and indirectly, adverse childhood experiences, trauma, and current ongoing stress, none of those are good for your gut. You've probably heard of the words the gut-brain axis. That's what we're talking about. Your disturbed gut flora can make you feel miserable, upset your mood, but also your mental, psychological stress can really upset your gut and your microbiome. Another thing that we think about when you're coming to us for SIBO is we don't forget about Candida. Candida's not a bacteria. Candida is a yeast. It's also an overgrowth. And what it does is cement itself onto our gut in what we call a biofilm, ties in all kinds of other things into that biofilm, such as lime. So we can have this whole film of locked in pathogens or undesirable entities, beings that are stuck into our gut in this biofilm. So we're going to be giving some herbs that will treat Candida and some herbs that will break biofilm and give us a fresh start. We also have a wonderful tincture that we're going to be using going forward for SIBO. It's called Happy Tummy Tincture. It was developed by one of our students, Claudia Martinez. She's now an Ayurvedic doctor practicing in Denver in her own right. We're going to be using that tincture to help you to have good digestion. So we're going to be working with lifestyle. We're going to be working with herbs to help you overcome SIBO and all of its unpleasant symptoms. Of course, the other aspect of treatment is diet, and I want to save that for next time. If you've been diagnosed with SIBO, you've probably been put on the FODMAP diet, but people are often put on that diet with not much explanation of what it is, how it should be used, and how you're supposed to get off of it. So we're going to talk about that next time. So we'll see you next week to talk about SIBO in the context of the FODMAP diet. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and tell your friends about the channel. Namaste.